because Jealous Eyes works really well when the game is about to end, when both players have very few prize cards left. Then you can do a lot of damage counters with only one energy cost. So Jealous Eyes actually do a lot, and it also protects you for one turn, and maybe one turn is all it takes for you to take those extra prize cards to win the game. Or Shifu VMAX Single Strike has the G-Max 1 blow attack, allowing you to do 270 damage, but you have to discard all energy from this Pokemon. And this attack's damage isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon, meaning they don't get to protect their Pokemon from damage or by the G-Max 1 blow attack. With their abilities, with their effects, with their stadium cards, with their trainer cards, with their tool cards, nothing works. So it's not affected by any effects on their Pokemon, not any effects on their Pokemon's attacks, any effects on their Pokemon. So you need to attach 2 single strike energy to your Urshifu VMAX. You need to have 1 Emboar already evolved on your bench, and you need to have a martial arts dojo on your stadium spot. That is all you need to have to do a max of 350 damage. If you have another Emboar in play, all you need is 1 Emboar. If you have another one, you get to do 380 damage, raw damage, with your G-Max 1 blow. Hello everybody, welcome back to Beware the Terrible. So today we are going to be talking about the new Battle Styles card list. So we are going to be reviewing the card list for the new Battle Styles expansion releasing on 19th of March, which is just a day or two from now. But I get that it's really late, but at least I'm doing a video about it. So it's kind of a last minute thing because I initially didn't intend on making this video, but on the last minute I decided to do it anyways because it's kind of worth taking a glance at the card list before the release of the expansion, just because if you have a look at it just before, then you get to make better decks, you get to, you know, study those cards better, and you get to make better formations and better, you get to strategize better, and you get to have a, you know, higher advantage that way. So let's just go right into it. So the first card we'll be reviewing is Galarian Mr. Rhyme with the ball juggling attack, allowing you to do an extra 40 damage for each ball card you discard from your hand. So it's the same as the Whimsicott with the attack that allows you to add 40 damage for each tool card you discard from your Pokemon, attached to your Pokemon. So with a base damage of 10 and 2, it is a double colorless energy cost. So meaning you can attach a twin energy or a triple acceleration energy to your Galarian Mr. Rhyme. So it's kind of the attack cost is the same as the Mad Party attack cost, and the strategy is kind of the same as Mad Party as well. So this is kind of like the new Mad Party card for the Battle Styles expansion, because Mad Party, you have to have a lot of Mad Party cards in your discard pile. Whimsicott, you have to have a lot of tool cards attached to your Pokemon, and you have to think of a way to retrieve those tool cards back into your hand so that you get to attach them back to your Pokemon. For example, by using not an escape board, a U-turn board. So a U-turn board, if you discard it, you put it into your hand instead of the discard pile. So you have to think of a way of keeping your Mad Party cards in the discard pile if it's a Mad Party deck. For your Galarian Mr. Rhyme, for Battle Styles Galarian Mr. Rhyme, you have to think about collecting all of those ball cards into your hand as fast as you can, as many as you can, and you have to think about retrieving those ball cards from your discard pile every turn, and you have to think about doing it a lot of like taking out a lot of ball cards from your deck, retrieving them back from your discard pile after you do your ball juggling hit, because after doing that you're gonna have to think about retrieving a lot of those cards back. So how do we retrieve? Obviously the very obvious card that is, you know, that is the strategy, the main strategy of the ball juggling attack. The obvious pair of that card is the Yamper card with the ball search ability, allowing you to search your discard pile for one Great Ball or one Pokeball or one of each, and put it into your hand as you place Yamper onto your bench. So it only works once, but you can scoop it up and you can recycle the ability very easily. But it only allows you to draw out 2 cards from your discard pile, 2 ball cards, meaning you only get to add an extra 80 damage with your ball juggling attack, essentially allowing you to do 90 damage with your ball juggling hit only if you place 1 Yamper. Obviously, if you place a lot of Yampers and if you scoop up a lot and you place it back onto the bench, you get to recycle a lot of those cards, but it's only Pokeball and Great Ball. So ball juggling, you get to use Ball Guy, obviously, because Ball Guy allows you to switch your deck for 3 ball cards, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. But Ball Guy only allows you to draw out 3. So a better strategy I recommend would be to use Clay to discard the top 7 cards of your deck and put any item cards into your hand. That way you get to put more ball cards. You have a higher chance of putting ball cards, more ball cards, more than 3 obviously, because you're discarding the top 7 cards of your deck. Hopefully a lot of those cards are ball item cards instead of energy recyclers or whatever. We don't need energy recyclers for this deck because obviously we can't be recycling basic energies in this deck because we are using Twin Energy and Triple XL. So the main card that is reintroduced into the deck, sorry, I'm getting a bit jittery. So the main card that is important for this ball juggling attack is Level Ball. So Level Ball is reintroduced into the game because Battle Styles is reintroducing Level Ball. That means Level Ball is once again standard, allowed in the standard format. So Level Ball is another ball which is the other balls that are included that are allowed in the standard format are Cherish Ball, Quick Ball, Pokeball, and Great Ball. So you only have 5 types of balls allowed in the standard format, with a total of up to 20 cards, because a limit of 4 cards each. So a total of 20 ball cards that you're allowed to have in your deck for a standard format. So with those cards, with those 20 cards, using a Clay would have a high chance of you discarding those items and putting them into your hand, putting those ball cards into your hand. But if you use a Clay, you can't draw out those energy cards. So how do you draw out an energy card? You use a Celebi from Shining Fates. I can't remember the ability, but Celebi's ability from Shining Fates allows you to search, to look at the top 5 cards of your deck and put a energy card choose an energy card from those 5 cards and put it into your hand. So any energy card, if I'm not mistaken, it's not just basic, it's any energy card. So if it's just basic, then that would be bad. But if it's any energy card, then that Celebi would work very well for your Twin Energy, for your Triple XL, to readily charge your Galarian Mr. Rhyme for an immediate ball juggling hit. In pair with your Clay, that means you get to search for your energy card, and you get to use your Clay to get out those scoop up nets, switches, balls as fast as you can, because you're not only discarding, you're not only collecting all of those ball cards, you're also collecting your scoop up nets, and scoop up net allows you to recycle your Yamper's ability. Obviously you have to discard those balls first, so the first ball juggling hit you'll have to think about drawing out those balls. So maybe Ball Guy is actually a good card to have, because the first hit requires you to discard all of those ball cards into your discard pile before you get to use your Yamper's ability. Otherwise Yamper would be basically useless. So to start with, you need a few Ball Guys, and then later on use a lot of Clays. So I would recommend maybe having 2 Ball Guys in the deck, 4 Clays, and all other supporter cards. Maybe some other more Pokemon abilities that you can find that matches really well with this this deck combo, this ball juggling attack, because ball juggling can do a lot. If you discard 7 ball cards from your hand, you can do up to 290 damage. So obviously you have to discard a lot of ball cards, but you get to recycle those cards. You get to recycle with Yamper, and it's actually quite a fun strategy to play with. Kind of like Mad Party, Whimsicott. That kind of deck is a fun deck, a 1 price card deck that is really fun to play with, that can actually really break the game if you find the right pair, the right matching cards to it. you know, from other expansions and from the same expansion as well. So that's all about the ball juggling card. I don't want to go on too long. So the next card is Charim. Charim has the Spring Bloom ability, allowing you to freely attach any Leaf Energy card from your hand to one of your Pokemon that does not have a rule box on it, as often as you like, in any way you like. That means you get to, it's a Hydreigon ability. It's a, what do you call that? It's the same as the Hydreigon ability, but it works for Leaf type energy. So to any one of your Pokemon, it's not just Leaf type. You get to attach it to normal type, any other type Pokemons, but you don't get to attach it to V, GX, or EXs. So that's the limitation. The good thing is it's stage 1, whereas Hydreigon is stage 2. The bad thing is that it does not work for rule box Pokemons. The good thing for Hydreigon is that it works for any Pokemon, you know, even GXs and Vs and EXs. So Charim might be good if you are using cards like Lugia. Lugia has 4 energy cost. Lugia from Vivid Voltage has 4 energy cost to do a 250 damage hit for Wind Pressure. So Wind Pressure has obviously has the condition where your opponent has to have 5 cards or more on their hand to be able for you to be able to do your Wind Pressure hit to do 250 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Otherwise, if they have if they have less than 5 cards in their hand, Wind Pressure does no damage. So that is the condition of Wind Pressure. Also, Wind Pressure has a high energy cost. It's a 4 colorless energy attack cost. So for those type of Pokemon, you're gonna have to think about how do you charge those Pokemons, either with a Welder. Obviously, Welder is not fast enough because Welder allows you to only attach 2 extra energy, inclusive of the extra 1 that you get to attach on your turn. So that's a total of only 3. With Welder, you get to attach only 3 to your Lugia, and you have to flip coins if you want to attach extra energies, or you have to use a BD and switch, or Birdkeeper and BD. You can't use Birdkeeper BD on the same turn, so you have to use a BD and switch, or you have to use a lot of Turbo Patches to flip all of those heads to be able to attach an extra energy onto your Lugia. So if it's 4 colorless, you're gonna have to do a lot of tricks to be able to get all those 4 energies on one turn. So Charim actually reduces all of those hassle, removes all of the hassle, and allows you to freely attach Leaf Energy to your Lugia. 4 Leaf Energy to your Lugia easily. You don't have to use a Welder, you don't have to waste a supporter card. Obviously, Welder is a good supporter card because you draw 3 cards as well. But if you don't have Fire type energies on your hand, obviously it's easy to get Fire type energies because you can have a Giant Hearth, you can have a Energy Retrieval, you can have Energy Spinner, Viridian Forest. It's very easy to do a Welder, but you know, sometimes you have a bad hand and Welder might not work. So Welder is not perfect is what I'm trying to say. And sometimes there are better supporter cards like Professor's Research or Marnie, which can sabotage your opponent and allow you to draw more cards, as opposed to Welder, which only allows you to draw 3 cards, which is not a lot. Birdkeeper also allows you to draw 3 cards, which is not a lot. So instead of Birdkeeper, Switch is actually a better card. Instead of Welder, Charim is actually a better card because Charim allows you to freely attach your Leaf Energy onto your Lugia, and you don't have to add those Turbo Patches, you don't have to add those BD switches, you don't have to worry about how to attach that extra 1 energy or waste another turn waiting to attach an extra energy. They might even boss order and knock it out before you attach the next before you attach your last energy on the next turn. So that's how powerful Charim is, because if you can find any type Pokemon, because it works for any type, as long as you have an Aurora Energy, a few Aurora Energies in your deck. If you're using, for example, a Duraludon also works. A Duraludon promo card has 1 Steel Energy cost and 3 Colorless Energy cost, allowing it to deal 150 damage for 4 energies. So if you attach an Aurora Energy to that Duraludon, you can use Charim's Spring Bloom ability to attach an extra 3 Leaf Energy onto it to satisfy its colorless energy cost, to allow you to do your Steel Beam. I think the attack's name is Steel Beam. To allow you to do Steel Beam for 150 damage for a full 4 energy cost, and you get to charge it within 1 turn. So you attach Aurora and you attach all Leaf Energy. So Leaf Energy, this Spring Bloom, although it might seem like a silly ability, but it's a stage 1 Pokemon and it works for any Pokemon. That means you get to charge up all of those colorless energy costs all colorless energy cost is essentially removed, is essentially zeroed. You know, as long as you can draw out all of your leaf energy as fast as possible, you can replace those colorless energies as leaf energy. So Charim is very good if you can find a good card with a strong attack that has a lot of colorless energy costs on it. So that's something to think about. And Bronzong has the metal transfer ability, allowing you to move a steel energy or a metal energy from one of your Pokemon to another of your Pokemon in any way you like, as often as you like during your turn. So you get to move steel energy. I keep saying steel, I think it's metal energy. So you get to move metal energy from one of your Pokemon to any of your Pokemon in any way you like. That means you get to Metal Saucer a lot of times to your bench Pokemon, and then transfer those energies attached to your bench Pokemon to your active Pokemon. You get to transfer from your bench to your active immediately, so that you get to charge up your active, and you know, you get to max charge your active to be able to do a one-hit blow with a lot of energies. If you have 2 Metal Saucers, it's already enough to charge up a Zacian in one turn without using the Intrepid Sword. So you get to use and without switching, without adding air balloons, without adding bird keepers or switches in the deck. Obviously those cards are good because they are item cards and they are supporter cards, and it allows you to draw. But Bronzong is very powerful as well, because Bronzong allows you to transfer not only from steel Pokemon to steel Pokemon, it allows you to transfer energy from steel Pokemon to any other Pokemon in play. So that means you get to, for example, if you have a VMAX Pokemon that needs an extra 2 energy cost, maybe you can even charge up an Indeedee V. So an Indeedee V has psychic energy and 2 colorless energies, and its attack is pretty powerful. So if your opponent has a lot of energy attached, if your opponent's active Pokemon has a lot of energy attached to it, if it's a VMAX as well, then you can charge up your Indeedee V with psychic energy, and then you can, or maybe an Aurora energy even, and then you can move all of your energy attached to your Zacian or your any other steel Pokemons to your Indeedee, switch it to the active spot, and do an immediate psychic hit for 60 extra damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So that is it's very flexible, it's very versatile. Essentially, Metal Transfer allows you to shift around all of your energy attachments, and it's kind of like a fairy transfer ability. It's the old fairy transfer ability now reintroduced into the game in the standard format in a metal in a metal style. You know, instead of fairy, now it's metal energy. You get to move your metal energies. So Weavile GX is kind of the same as Weavile GX's ability, allows you to move your dark energy from one of your Pokemon to any of your Pokemon, but now it's metal. And metal, we have coating energy, we have Zacian, we have metal saucers. Metal type Pokemons are very, very strong as it is. Now we are introducing Bronzong, which is going to be a huge thing. And you can think about adding some other cards, non-metal Pokemon cards, into your deck as well, into your Zacian V deck, so that you get to charge up those Pokemons by replacing energy switches with Bronzong. You don't have to use energy switch anymore. So you can use Bronzong in place of your energy switch, in place of your tag switch. You don't need energy switches. That's very, very powerful in my opinion. And now, next we have our Kingdra card with the Deep Seeking ability. So Deep Seeking allows you to have the Wishful Baton effect. So Wishful Baton, if you attach it to your active Pokemon, if it gets knocked out by your opponent's damage, then you attach all of those 3. You don't discard the energy attached to that Pokemon that gets knocked out. That got knocked out. So the Pokemon that got knocked out, the energy cards doesn't get discarded. The energy cards get reattached to any of your bench Pokemon by bulk. So all of those energies, only 3 though. You get to save only 3 energy cards. So Wishful Baton, you get to save 3 energy cards if your active Pokemon gets knocked out. Whereas Deep Seeking ability allows you to save all energies attached to your active Pokemon, any amount of water energy from that Pokemon, so to your Kingdra. So if your active Pokemon gets knocked out by damage from your opponent's attack, then you get to attach any amount of water energy attached to that Pokemon that got knocked out onto your Kingdra instead of discarding them. So it's like an automatic Wishful Baton, a max Wishful Baton. a max wishful baton, meaning you get to attach all of those onto your Kingdra. So a good idea is to pair Kingdra up with Keldeo V, because Keldeo V has a powerful attack which allows you to add an extra 40 damage for each water energy attached to your Keldeo V, and you can pair it with Frostmoth as well, obviously. So Frostmoth Lapras V is a very good combo, but if you add Frostmoth Lapras, if you add Kingdra to the Lapras V deck list, it's not a good formation, because Kingdra is a stage 2 Pokemon and it gets knocked out very easily. They can just boss order it and just wipe it out. So it's not a good idea to add Kingdra to your Lapras V Max formation, in my opinion, because Lapras V Max is a stage 1, Frostmoth is already a stage 1 as well, and Kingdra is stage 2. Whereas Keldeo V is a basic, so Keldeo V you get to use Frostmoth to attach energy freely, and then put it on the basic spot, put it on the active spot, attack as many times as you need until it gets knocked out. Prepare a few Kingdras on your bench position, and then if your Keldeo gets knocked out, or if they boss order and knock out a Kingdra, at least you have another Kingdra in spare. If they choose to knock out your Kingdra as well, they're gonna have to think about dealing with your Keldeo V on the next turn. So it's actually a trade-off. It's actually a lose-lose for them, because they're gonna have to decide whether to knock out your Kingdra or to knock out your Keldeo V. Because if they knock out your Kingdra, then they're gonna have to deal with not only your Keldeo V but also your Frostmoth being able to attach more energies to maybe another Keldeo V or another water type card, maybe a Blastoise Piplup Tag Team GX or something. So they're gonna have to decide which Pokemon to knock out. You know, it's because water decks are very powerful with Frostmoth. So if they knock out a Frostmoth, then you can still attack with your Keldeo V while preparing for your next Frostmoth. You get to still attack with your Keldeo V, and then if they knock out your Keldeo V, you get to reattach those energy to your Kingdra, and your Kingdra gets to do Aqua Burst for the same effect as Keldeo V's attack, except it doesn't have a base damage. So Aqua Burst does 40x damage for each water energy attached to your Kingdra, meaning it's the same as Keldeo. It does the same as Keldeo without the base damage, minus the base damage. So it's essentially a one price card Keldeo V, but it's a stage 2 and it gets knocked out easily because it's only 150 HP. So and it's only 1 energy cost. Aqua Burst is only 1 energy cost, so that's very, very powerful in my opinion. So we have a lot of cards with various interesting abilities out in the Battle Styles expansion, which I'm very excited about. The next card with a strong ability is Ear Moves. So Meowstic has the Ear Moves ability, allowing you to move 1 damage counter from one of your Pokemon to one of your opponent's Pokemon once during your turn. So you only get to do it once, but you get to do it once for each Meowstic. That means if you have a lot of Meowstic, you get to do it more than once. So it's not an ability where you only get to do that ability once per turn. You only get to do that ability once per card per turn. So if you have a lot of those cards, you get to do it a lot of times per turn, obviously. So as opposed to DD Change or Dark Asset, where you only get to do that ability once per turn. It doesn't matter if you put a lot of DD and GXs onto your bench, you only get to do DD Change once. So that is more restricted in my opinion. That is more restricted as compared to Ear Moves. So obviously it's only 1 damage counter, is not a lot, but you get to transfer damage counters from your Pokemon across to your opponent's Pokemon. That is like unheard of, you know. It's very, very unusual. So it's quite interesting because it can work really well with Spiritomb. It can work really well with Sableye V. So if you have a Spiritomb, a Meowstic, and a Sableye V, you can very easily use Building Spite and Ear Moves to transfer that damage counter onto your opponent's active Pokemon, and do it twice or 3 times if you have. Obviously, you can only do it twice unless you have. If you have 3 Meowstic and 2 Spiritombs, or maybe 3 Meowstic and 1 Spiritomb, and then you can play some Spike Mirth to add damage counters to your Pokemon, and then use Meowstic to transfer those damage counters, because it doesn't specify 1 damage counter from one of your Pokemon. It doesn't specify whether it's your bench Pokemon or your active Pokemon, any of your Pokemon. So if you use Spikemuth, you get to transfer those 2 damage counters with 2 of your Meowsticks to your opponent's active Pokemon, and then you use the 3rd Meowstick to transfer the damage counter on your Spiritomb to your opponent's active Pokemon, essentially allowing your Sableye V to do 190 damage with its Crazy Claws. So 190 plus the 3 damage counter transferred is equal to 220. 190 yep, 220. 220 damage is enough to knock out a V Pokemon. So very easily on one turn, you get to knock out a V Pokemon with your Sableye V with only one turn. You get to use Spikemuth, but obviously you need to switch. You need to think about switching your active Pokemon out of the active spot and placing your Sableye V back into the active spot so that it gets to do its Crazy Claw attack on the same turn. So you need to do a double switch if your Sableye V is already in the active spot. If your Sableye V is on your bench spot, you only need to do a single switch. And then use your Meowstick's ear moves to transfer those damage counters that you accumulated from the Spikemuth, from your Spikemuth's effect. You get to use ear move to transfer those damage counters to your opponent's Pokemon. If you have 3 Meowsticks, it's better to have 3 Meowsticks on your bench. Then you get to transfer those 2 damage counters that you accumulate from Spikemuth and an extra damage counter from Spiritomb, or maybe you get to place an it's actually better to play Galarian Zigzagoons, because relying on 3 Meowsticks showing up in your deck is actually pretty risky, because it's not very likely for you to draw, it's probably better to have, it's best to have all 4 Meowsticks on your deck. No, it's best to have 4 of each Meowstick and Esper cards if you are playing an Ear Moves deck. So is what I'm trying to say. So if you are playing a Meowstick Sableye deck, and if you are featuring your deck off of Meowstick's ability, it's better to have a full 4 card deck. So 4 Meowsticks and 4 Espers. But even if you have 4 of each of those cards, it's very difficult for all 4 or even 3 of those cards to show up in your deck. Some could show up in your prize card, so it's better not to rely on all 3 in your deck. Even if it's just 3, we can't be relying on all 3 to show up in the deck and to evolve those 3 fast enough to do a 3 damage counter transfer. So it's better to add Galarian Zigzagoons, it's better to add Blow Away Bomb to your deck if you're using your Meowstick Sableye V combo deck formation. So if you're building a deck off of Meowstick's Ear Moves ability, if you're pairing that with Sableye V, it's better to add Galarian Zigzagoon, it's better to add Coughing Wheezing with the Blow Away Bomb, because that way you don't have to rely too much on your Meowstick's ability, because its ability is not really that powerful. It's only 1 damage counter that you get to transfer. It's not 2, it's just 1. If it's 2, then 2 is enough. 2 Meowstick cards is enough, but relying on all 3, it's kind of the same as the Jinx with the Ominous Posture card. Ominous Posture allows you to move 1 damage counter from one of your Pokemon to another of your Pokemon. It's only 1, so you can't rely on all 4 of those Jinxes showing up in your deck. That is why you need to think about other strategies to be able to place damage counter on your Spiritomb. If you're basing your deck off of a Soul Spiritomb attack, if you're attacking only with your Spiritomb, you gotta think of some other way of transferring your damage counters from your other Pokemon onto your Spiritomb. Not just relying 100% on your Jinx. So it's better not to rely too much on your Meowstick card. It's better to have other supporting cards if you're playing a Sableye V Meowstick formation. That is why it's just a good addition to those cards. So if you're playing a Sableye V, Galarian, Zigzagoon, Blow Away Bomb, a good addition is to add Spikemuth and Meowstick to that deck. And then arrange it around and experiment, toy with it until it becomes perfect. Optimize it. You gotta test it out before you know if it's good or not. So it's just an idea, it's just a concept. You gotta experiment with it before you know whether it's actually good in the standard format, whether it's actually whether it's actually one of the top decks or not. So next we have our Typo Coco V, our first V card with the Spiral Thunder attack. allowing you to do a base damage of 20 with an extra 40 damage for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. So it's kind of the same as the old Psystorm attack. So the old Delphox card and the old Lunala Prism Star card has the Psystorm attack, allowing you to do 20x damage for each energy card attached to all of yours and your opponent's Pokemon. So attached to all Pokemons in play. So that is actually more powerful because it counts all energy cards in play, yours and your opponents. Whereas Spiral Thunder, it's kind of like Energy Crush. Leafeon, I think. Leafeon Team Plasma has the Energy Crush attack, allowing you to do 20x damage for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. So it's kind of the same as Energy Crush. It's it's more similar to Energy Crush than Psystorm. But obviously Psystorm is more powerful. But Psystorm is no longer that powerful and is no longer allowed in the standard format anyways. And it's no longer that powerful is because we have the new VMAXs with really high HP, and 20x is not enough. That is why we need 40 extra damage. If you have 40 extra for each energy attached to your opponent's Pokemon, so all of your opponent's Pokemon, that is a lot. If they play high energy cost attack Pokemons, then you're gonna do a lot of damage with your Spiral Thunder. But obviously, with each knockout, it's gonna be less and less and less. So you're gonna have to think about a way of having other cards in pair with your Typo Coco V, because if you focus only on your Spiral Thunder attack, it's gonna do less and less damage. And for your last knockout, you're not gonna be able to do you're not gonna be able to do enough damage to knock that Pokemon, because they're not gonna have a lot of energy attached left onto their remaining Pokemons. So you're gonna have to think about adding other cards in pair that can do damage as well. They can do a lot of damage, maybe electric types. You can add speed energy, you can add Typo Coco Prism Star to speed up your energy, because it is 3 lightning energy cost, sorry, 2 lightning and 1 colorless energy cost. So it's pretty heavy, but we can use Turbo Patch or some other way, BD, to charge it up fast. We can even use it's 1 colorless, so we can use our Metal Transfer to transfer that a Metal Saucer energy onto your Typo Coco V, or we can use our Charim to attach a leaf energy from our hand freely. So that means if we have already attached 1 on our last turn, all we need to do is attach an extra 1 and use ability, or use ability to transfer energy from other Pokemon to your Typo Coco V, or to attach from your hand freely to your Typo Coco V, or use other trainer cards to attach that extra energy, or use Typo Coco Prism Star. You get the point. There's a lot of ways of attaching those extra energies, but obviously they can use Crushing Hammer. 3 energy attack cost is always kind of difficult, because they can use Crushing Hammer, Team Yell, any cards to discard, even a Clefable to put it back onto the top of your deck. So it's kind of annoying if it's 3 energy attack cost, but it does a lot. So if it does a lot, you're gonna have to use some other cards, pair the attack with some other strategy. You can't just focus on charging Typo Coco V and using it for its Spiral Thunder attack. You gotta think about some other strategy. So a deck can be very good only if it matches well with other strategies. So if you have a lot of strategy working together in pair with each other, and working really well with each other, and if you have a lot together on the same deck, then that would be a really good deck. Otherwise, if you have only a single strategy, if you have only a one-dimensional strategy, then it's not a good deck, because they can counter it very easily. If they have a single counter, a direct counter, you're gonna have your entire deck would break down. You're gonna have to think about some other strategy to work your way around that counter. And if they have a different counter, you have some other counter. So you need a lot of complexity in your deck. You need a lot of sophistication in your deck, so that you get to you get to counter any other. It's a lot of counter strikes. You get to protect yourself from any weaknesses and from any counters that they direct in your direction. So any attacks you get to buffer and any weaknesses you get to protect yourself from. So we need a lot of strategy. So one idea is to pair this card with the Arctozolt. So Arctozolt allows you to place 2 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon as they attach energy from their hand to any of their Pokemon. So obviously they can still bypass that ability with Galarian Weezing, with Stealthy Hood, with Metal Goggles. They can even attach energies from their deck to their Pokemon with Pokemon's attacks with Pokemon's ability like Bolton V or Charizard. They can even attach from their discard pile like Rotom or Tag Team GX attack to attach energy from their discard pile to their Pokemon. They can even use ability to attach energy from their discard pile. So it's a lot. There is a lot of way to go to disable, to break through your Arctozolt's ability. So obviously Arctozolt is not perfect, but it is just an idea, because Arctozolt, Crushing Hammer, Team Yell actually forces your opponent to attach, to worry about energy attachment, because their energy supply is gonna be cut off. Then they're gonna have to worry about attaching extra energies onto their Pokemon, so that they get to prepare for extra Crushing Hammers, prepare for extra Team Yells and Clefables or whatever. And they're gonna have to worry about knocking out your Arctozolts before they knock out your Typo Coco V. So you could even use Typo Coco V as a surprise card, but obviously it's 3 energy cost. It's not gonna be a surprise card, you know, it's 3 energy cost. You can't put it onto your bench and immediately switch it out for a direct hit. So it's not gonna be a surprise card, but you can force yourself to make sure it shows up later on in the game. So that your opponent has already attached way too much energy onto their Pokemon, and then they have no choice but to, be damaged by your Spiral Thunder. So attaching a lot of energy onto their Pokemon, you can force them to do that either with a lot of Arctozolts. Obviously Arctozolt is not perfect, and it might actually force them to not attach energy. You know, they might actually think about using some other way to or maybe they might even knock out your Arctozolt before they attach energy or something like that. But usually if you have Arctozolt in play, they are gonna attach energy onto their Pokemon. They're not gonna attach more energy to their Pokemon, but they're gonna worry about energy attachment. So we want them to worry about energy attachment, because so for each energy that they attach from their hand to their Pokemon, they are not only placing 2 damage counter on that Pokemon, they are also adding damage. They are also adding your Spiral Thunder's damage. That means you do more damage for each energy they attach from their hand, and you get to place an extra 2 damage counters. So that is the extra advantage if you play Arctozolt. It's not a forcing them to attach more energy. It's actually, you know, it actually works in pair, sort of, because it plays 2 more damage counter. It adds to the it adds to the cost, you know, the cost of attaching an energy to their Pokemon. So attaching an energy to their Pokemon has the cost of damaging their Pokemon, and has also an extra cost of increasing your Pokemon's attack damage. So you get to do more damage, and you get to place damage counters. So that is the advantage of having an Arctozolt with your Typo Coco V. But that's just an idea. Another combo you can think about is the Grimmsnarl or Aerodactyl GX, which adds a star energy to your opponent's active Pokemon's attack cost, or a Wondrous Labyrinth. Wondrous Labyrinth allows you to add a star to your opponent's attack cost, or even a Flapple. We'll just briefly show Flapple right now. So Flapple V allows you to add 2 stars, so 2 energy cost to your opponent's attack. So their attack cost 2 star more. With the Sour Spit attack, obviously it's an attack, so we're trying to add as much as possible the attack cost of our opponent's Pokemon, so that they attach as much energy onto their Pokemon to allow us to do more damage with our Spiral Thunder. So that is the essential strategy if you are using this Typo Coco V card, because if you do, it would be better to do it with an ability. Obviously Sour Spit is an attack, So, and they with every effect of an attack, they can just switch their Pokemon, retreat to recover that the effect. That means they can erase the effect if they switch their Pokemon into the bench spot. So the effect of an attack is not that powerful. It's better to have either a Wondrous Labyrinth or a Grimmsnarl to add your opponent's attack cost. Because if you add your opponent's attack cost, Aerodactyl GX as well, then if you add their attack cost, then they are forced to either attach more energy to their Pokemon, or to use a Chaotic Swell, or to Boss Order, because you know those abilities only work if they are in the active spot. So they are forced to waste those cards. Obviously there is still way to get around those abilities and those effects, but if they don't have the right cards, if they don't have Boss Order, they don't have catchers, if their catchers flip tails, or if they don't have Chaotic Swell, if they don't play stadium cards, if they don't retreat their Pokemon after you use Sour Spit, then sorry, Sour Spit is over here, there we go. If they don't retreat into the bench spot and erase the effect, then they are forced to add more energies onto their Pokemon so that they can attack. And if they do attach more energies, then you can add more damage with your Spiral Thunder. So that is what we want to happen. We want to force them as much as we can, because it's not a surefire, it's not certain, nothing is ever certain, but we want to be able to force them as much as we can to attach a lot of energy onto their Pokemon. To add their Pokemon's attack cost is one strategy. So enough about Typo Coco, let's go for another V card, Mimikyu V. Mimikyu V has the Dummy Doll ability, allowing you to protect it from all damage from your opponent's Pokemon as you place it onto your bench on your turn. So it protects it from all damage for only one turn until the end of your opponent's next turn. So that means it does not protect it forever, obviously, and it does not protect it from special conditions or damage counters. So a good strategy to use Mimikyu V is to put it into play, you know, maybe have a lot of Pokédolls in your deck as well, so that you get to put a Pokédoll in the active spot, place your Mimikyu on the bench to activate its ability, put the Pokédoll back into your deck, and then put the Mimikyu as your only card in play, so that you get to protect it from all damage. So they don't get to use Boss Order and knock out any other Pokemons. So that means they're gonna have to use special conditions to knock out Mimikyu, which is virtually impossible unless they have unless they're playing Alolan Mach GX, a tag team Alolan Mach, plus a lot of Toxicroaks, plus a lot of Verbang Cities. Verbang City is not in standard format, but you get the point. If they play a lot of Toxicroaks, if they do a lot of damage to your Mimikyu Vs by damage counters and by special conditions, then they can knock it out. But if they don't do enough damage counters, then Mimikyu stays in play for another turn. Then all you need to do is switch it out of the bench spot, heal all damage, exile it, and then think of a way of shuffling it back into the deck so that you can summon it back and do the same thing. So that actually saves you one turn because it protects you from damage. All you need to do is switch it out after the protection spell wears off. After the protection spell has worn off, you switch it out of the active spot, heal all damage if it is damaged. If it is damaged by damage counters or special conditions, obviously it won't be damaged that heavily because well, it can still be affected by Pokemon's effect. That's why it's better to have a big Parasol attached to it. Then you can protect all effects, but they can still use Tool Jammer or Tool Scrapper. Tool Jammer is a handy card that I'll explain later. So I'll explain that later. So basically, if you have a lot of damage counters or if it's affected by a lot of special conditions, it might be pretty heavily damaged. So you're gonna have to think about healing all of those damages before you can use Giovanni's Exile, or before you can maybe scoop it out with a Corviknight Flying Taxi, some way, you know, some way to discard your Mimikyu V because it's only good for its protection spell, or maybe just heal it, you know, find some way to heal it because it is only 160 HP. It's very, very low, and it's weak towards Dark type. and it also has the Jealous Eye attack. So Jealous Eyes allows you to do to place 3 damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon for each prize card that they have taken. So that is quite a lot, because that's pretty heavy, because it is 3 damage counters. If they take 4 prize cards, you place 12 damage counters on their active Pokemon for only 1 energy cost. So obviously it's not a good thing if they have a lot of prize cards taken, but if both players have 1 or 2 prize cards left, then Mimikyu V can be a good final gambit. You know, it can be your trump card. So it can be a final strategy kind of thing, because Jealous Eyes works really well when the game is about to end, when both players have very few prize cards left. Then you can do a lot of damage counters with only 1 energy cost. So Jealous Eyes actually do a lot, and it also protects you for 1 turn, and maybe 1 turn is all it takes for you to take those extra prize cards to win the game. So this card is actually really good at the final hours. So it's a very good final gambit. You know, it's a kind of a good card to show up when it's about to end, when the game is about to end, when you're about to win, or when your opponent has a lot of advantage, they have taken a lot of prize cards, and you have no way of turning the tables. Maybe this could turn a table for you. So you never know. It could be it could turn the game around for you. So enough about Mimikyu V. Let's go for the next one. So the next card is a single strike card, Primeape. So Primeape allows you to do 50x damage for its Steaming Mad Strike. Steaming Mad Strike does 50 damage for each of your bench Pokemon that has any damage counters on it. That means you get to use it with Donphan, you get to use it with Jinx, Spiritomb Jinx, or you even get to use it with Spikemuth Jinx. So Spikemuth Jinx means you get to switch around your Pokemon to add damage counters on your Pokemon as you switch it out of the active spot, and then you use Jinx with the Ominous Posture ability to replace those damage counters, making sure you have 1 damage counter at least on each of your bench Pokemon, allowing you to do up to 250 damage with your Steaming Mad Strike. That is a lot of damage, 250 for only 2 fighting energy costs. But you can even reduce those that energy cost with a Karate Belt, but obviously Karate Belt only allows you to reduce it if you have more prize cards than your opponent. So that is a restriction there. Be aware of the conditions of that card, because Karate Belt can really can be disabled when you have the same number of prize cards as your opponent or more prize cards. So Karate Belt might not be useful sometimes. It might be better to just find a way to attach an extra energy to your Primeape, maybe with a Turbo Patch, an Energy Switch, or maybe with another single strike card. The Houndoom allows you to attach a single strike energy, which is a special energy. I'll explain it later. Let's just explain it now. So single strike energy, let me just go, sorry about that. Let's just go over here. So single strike energy is a special energy, and it acts as both fighting and dark energy. That's the first effect. And the second effect is that it adds 20 damage to all of your single strike Pokemon's attacks. It adds 20 damage to the Pokemon that it's attached to. So it's kind of like a muscle band, and it also acts as both a fighting and a dark type, but it only acts as 1 energy, only 1 at a time. So fighting or dark energy, and add 20 damage to that Pokemon's attacks. And you can only attach it to your single strike Pokemon. If you attach it to any other Pokemon, you discard that special energy. There we go, single strike energy. And then we have the Houndoom card to attach single strike energy. Search a deck for a single strike energy, attach it to any of your Pokemon with the single strike label on it. So and you put 2 damage counter on that Pokemon. So there we go. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for a single strike energy card, attach it to one of your single strike Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. If you attach energy to your Pokemon in this way, put 2 damage counter on that Pokemon. So that is the single, I can't read the ability, single strike roar. Okay, that's like the writing is really blurred out because the color is just wrong. Single strike roar. So Single Strike Roar works really well with your Primeape because you can attach an energy from your deck with the ability, and then you can attach an energy from your hand. On the same turn, you can deal 250 damage if you have 5 bench Pokemon already damaged with your Spikemuth, or with your Donphan, or with your Spiritomb and Jinx. So Spiritomb with the Building Spite ability, sorry, getting jittery here. So Building Spite allows you to put 1 damage counter on your Spiritomb every turn, and then if you have a lot of Spiritombs, you get to do it you get to do it a lot of times, and then on your next turn, you only need to do it again. You need to build your Spite again, and then use your Jinx to spread those damage counters around, and add even more damage with your Steaming Mad Strike. So Steaming Mad Strike works really well with the damage counter placements on your Pokemon. But it only adds up to 250, but it's a single strike card, meaning you get to use Emboar. Emboar is another single strike Pokemon which allows you to add 30 damage to all of your single strike Pokemon's attacks. So you can even stack this ability. Fighting Fury Stance allows you to do, what do you call that? You're allowed to use more than 1 Fighting Fury Stance per turn. That means you can add up to 120 damage if you have 4 Emboars in play. So obviously we won't be that lucky to have 4. It's really hard to evolve 4 Emboars. It's a stage 2 Pokemon. It's a very, very heavy Pokemon. You need rare candies, you need Pignites. It's stage 2 is what I'm trying to say. It's really, really difficult to evolve it. So how are you going to find it? How are you going to evolve it? And if you can have at least 2 on your bench, then you can do up to 310, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 310 damage with your Steaming Mad Strike without a choice band. If you have a choice band, 320. If you have a Leon, you can do up to 350. And 350 is enough to knock out a VMAX. The highest VMAX I think is 360 though. But you can deal 380 if you have 3 Emboars. Obviously, it's pretty impossible to have 3 Emboars, but you never know. You might be lucky enough to have 3 Emboars on your bench. So Emboar, Houndoom, and Primeape is a good single strike formation. Single strike, rapid strike is obviously the main highlight of our Battle Styles expansion. So it's let me explain briefly about the single strike rapid strike thing. So single strike rapid strike is basically the same as the Team Magma, Team Aqua gameplay. So they are kind of reintroducing the Team Magma, Team Aqua gameplay into the PTCGO format, standard format, because single strike and rapid strike basically works the same as Team Magma, Team Aqua. So it's a team kind of thing. So if you are Team Magma, you have all of your advantages and you get to sabotage Team Aqua in your own way. If you're Team Aqua, you have all of your own specific advantages as well, and you get to sabotage Team Magma in your own way as well. So it's kind of a what do you call it, a separate kind of advantage that they are trying to separate Pokemons and trying to separate trainer cards for certain type of Pokemons and trying to separate energy cards as well. So you have special energies, trainer cards, and Pokemon for single strike, and you have special energy, trainer cards, and Pokemon for rapid strike. That's what I'm trying to say. So that is for single strike. I'll explain rapid strike later, but for right now, let's just go back to the other cards. Up next, we have our Sandaconda with the big sand cannon attack, allowing you to do 60 damage for each fighting energy card you discard from the top 6 card of your deck. So as you use this attack, you have to discard the top 6 card of your deck, and you do 60 damage for each fighting card you discarded. So it's the same as the Chandelier from Unified Minds with the Spirit Burner attack, and it's also kind of the same as the Gyarados from Team Up expansion with the Distilled Blast attack. Is more similar to the Gyarados because in stage 1 is only 1 energy cost, and it discards it adds damage for each fighting energy you discarded. So it adds 60 damage, and it discards the top 6 cards of your deck. Whereas for Distilled Blast, let's just briefly go here. Distilled Blast discards reveals the top 7 cards of your deck, and you discard non-energy cards from it, non-water energy cards from it, until you have water energy left, and you shuffle the water energies back into your deck, and you do only 30 more damage for each water energy you revealed from the top 7 cards of your deck. So it's pretty different, and for each Distilled Blast attack, you do even more damage on the next turn, because the next Distilled Blast is gonna have higher chances of you revealing water energies, because you have already discarded non-water energies from your deck after every Distilled Blast hit. So after every hit, you increase the chances of you revealing those water energy cards, meaning for each hit you do more and more damage. So Gyarados is actually more powerful, but it only does 30 more damage for each water energy revealed, as opposed to Sandaconda, it does 60 damage, a whopping 60 damage for each fighting energy you discard from your deck. Obviously, you don't shuffle it back. You have to think of using another card to shuffle it back, maybe a Brock's Grid or Energy Retrieval, or maybe even Energy Recycler. So Energy Recycler is back in the standard format because they just introduced Energy Recycler in Battle Styles. So there's 4 cards that you need to note that is reintroduced into the game in the standard format. So the first card is obviously Energy Recycler. The second one, here we go, Energy Recycler. And then we have, just look at the cursor. So I have my cursor pointed at Energy Recycler. And then Escape Rope is the second card. Third card is Experience Share. And the last one is Level Ball. So we have Escape Rope, Experience Share, Level Ball, and Energy Recycler, all reintroduced into the game for standard format. So that is very, very big, because Level Ball is very, very handy. Experience Share is a huge tool card, is very, very powerful as well, depending on the number of depending on the type of deck that you're having. And Escape Rope also is a huge it's a super item card. It's an item card, and it allows you to switch your Pokemon out of the active spot for any of your bench, and it forces your opponent to do the same. So it's a automatic Lysander item card, but automatic Fion item card. So it's kind of a Whirlpool Suction item card sort of thing. It's not a Lysander because you don't get to choose your you don't get to choose the specific Pokemon, the bench Pokemon that your opponent switched to. So Energy Recycler, you shuffle any 5 basic energy cards from your discard pile back into your deck. 5, that is a lot, and it is an item card. So as opposed to Brock's Grid, you get to shuffle 6 in any combination of Pokemon or basic energy cards back into your deck from your discard pile. So Energy Recycler works really well with your Sandaconda's, I can't remember the attack now, Sandaconda's Big Sand Cannon. And just briefly about those tool cards, so Experience Share is not really good anymore because you have Tool Scrappers and Tool Jammers. So briefly about Tool Jammer. Tool Jammer is the new tool card which works the same as the Neutralizing Gas ability from Galarian Weezing. So Tool Jammer allows you to block all the effects of your opponent's tool cards. That means it's the same as Lysander's Labs, except it only works in half. So that means you block the effect of all of your opponent's tool cards, but you don't disable your own tool cards. Your tool cards still have effects, so your tool cards still work, but your opponent's tool cards does not work. So Tool Jammer only works if your if the Pokemon you have Tool Jammer attached to is in the active spot. So it's the same as Galarian Weezing, Neutralizing Gas. It only works if it's in the active spot, and it disables abilities of your opponent's Pokemon, but it does not disable abilities on your Pokemon. So your Pokemon still get to use its abilities unless they have Weezing on their active spot. So unless they have Tool Jammer on their active Pokemon, then you still get to use your tool cards. So it's a pretty different way of how Lysander's Labs is being reintroduced into the game. So Lysander's Labs obviously disables the effect of all tool cards in play, yours and your opponent's. So it's pretty different, but you know, it's kind of the specifics, the details are pretty different. So that's what I'm trying to say. So let's go back to Sandaconda. So Sandaconda actually works really well if you have a lot of energy recyclers, if you can find a way of compressing your deck so that you have a lot of energy cards in your deck left to be able to discard with your big sand cannon. So maybe think about having some Inteleons in your deck to get out all of those trainer cards. Maybe have some clays and a lot of item cards to shuffle back those energies into your deck. A lot of item cards to get out of all of your Pokemon, get those Pokemon out of the way, get those trainer cards out of the way, get those other tool cards out of the way. So basically make sure your deck only have make sure your deck have a lot, like maybe 30 energy cards in your deck. Probably that's unrealistic. Maybe 20 or 22 in your deck would be good. And then all of the other cards to make sure all of the other cards in your deck is to compress the other trainer cards. So make sure you have energy recyclers, obviously. Make sure you have Brock's Grid, but also make sure you have enough rods as well, because we do need to recycle our Sandaconda, because we only get to have 4 Sandacondas in the deck, and we need to keep using it because it is only 130 HP. It gets knocked out pretty easily, but it is a 1 price card. It's kind of the same as Gyarados. It's the new Gyarados, because Gyarados doesn't do much damage anymore. With the new VMAXs out, the new high HP Pokemons, we need to be thinking about doing a lot of damage, and Big Sand Cannon allows us to do up to 360 damage. That is a lot, and you haven't even add damage with your Leons or your supporter cards or your Incineroar. You can even add damage with your Strong Cheer or any other abilities. I'm not sure what other ability can add damage to your Big Sand Cannon, but you can add it with Leon and Choice Band. So you can even add a Martial Arts Dojo to add damage as well. So you can add a lot of damage with your Big Sand Cannon, up to 360, 400 damage even easily with your Leon and Choice Band. So that is, you know, it's a very strong card. It's only stage 1 and it's only 1 energy cost. So it's a very, very important card I find to have in the new expansion. So let's go for the next one. Don't want to be talking too much about that. So Orbital is the new Psychic type Pokemon. They are reintroducing Orbital in the Psychic type. So, sorry, they are reintroducing Cradily. So Cradily, the Life Explosion attack, allowing you to search your deck for any stage 2 Pokemon and place them onto your bench for search your deck for the amount of stage 2 Pokemon equal to the amount of energy attached to Cradily. So that is how Life Explosion work. Life Explosion only works for leaf energy, so you need to attach a lot of leaf energy onto your Cradily for it to work. And obviously it's in the expanded format, it's no longer standard, but they are reintroducing that card into that attack into the standard format with Orbital's Evomancy, which is essentially the same thing, except it works for any type of energy. So it's colorless, meaning it works for any type of energy. So for each energy attached to this Pokemon, search your deck for a stage 2 Pokemon, except Orbital, and put it onto your bench, then shuffle your deck, meaning you can attach a triple acceleration energy and you can search your deck for any 3 stage 2 Pokemons, put them onto your bench. That is insane. So stage 2 Pokemons, you can think about any Pokemon. You can think about having your Decidueye out, you can think about having your Cinderace out, Cinderace Libero, Cinderace Strong Kick, or whatever Voltage Beat Pokemon, any stage 2, Inteleons even. Obviously Inteleon you need to evolve for it to work well. Inteleon with the ability, so Inteleon is only good for its ability, which only works when you get to evolve from your hand. So maybe some other stage 2 Pokemon would work better. So basically Evomancy, it really kind of alters the entire game. It shifts the entire game. You get to look at stage 2 Pokemons as if they are basic Pokemons. It's kind of like it's a fresh new way of playing the game. So stage 2 Pokemons act almost like basic Pokemons. As long as you evolve Orbital is stage 2 obviously, so you need to evolve with either a rare candy or through a Dottler, which is the stage 1 Pokemon. So you need to evolve your Orbital first before you can do your Evomancy. Then you can think about all of your then you can treat all those other stage 2 Pokemons as though they are basic Pokemons, because you can summon them real easily. If you have more than 3 energies, you can summon 4 stage 2 Pokemons on your bench. That is insane. Obviously 3 is enough, we don't want to have too many. You can even summon Kingdra, the previous Kingdra. You can even summon Ambor from your single strike, so it is a lot. You get a lot of advantage with this Evomancy card. Kingdra is stage 2. Kingdra we've already explained just now with the Aqua Blast attack and the Deep Sea King ability, very strong card. We have also Ambor with the single strike ability, allowing you to add 30 damage to each of your single strike card. So Evomancy can work really well with all of those stage 2 cards. That is insane. Sorry about that. Let's just go back to Orbital. Claydol. So the next card is Claydol. So Orbital, Zen Hitbutt, 120 is not that powerful, but Evomancy is huge is what I'm trying to say. And the old Cradily card is a fossil, and the old fossil is really hard to summon. You need a root fossil, and root fossil only works if you have your Lilip at the top, at the bottom 5 cards of your deck. So you need to have the restored Pokemon at the bottom 5 cards of your deck to be able to summon with your item card, root fossil item card, and then you need to evolve that Pokemon, and then you need to attach a lot of leaf energy onto it. So it's a lot of restrictions, whereas with your Orbital you only need to use a rare candy, and you only need to attach a triple acceleration energy, and right off the bat you get to summon 3 stage 2 Pokemons. That is insane. So now let's go for Claydol with the Power Split attack, allowing you to attach energy cards to your Pokemon from your discard pile until the amount of energy you have on your Pokemon is the same as the amount on your opponent's Pokemon. So it's energy, it's kind of a energy balance, you know, attaching only Psychic type though. Psychic type energies from your discard pile to your Pokemon until the energy amount is the same as your opponent. So that is very interesting, because you don't have cards like this in previous expansions. You don't have it in the expanded format even. You know, never have we seen this attack before. So it's a new attack where you get to attach energy from your discard pile until the energy is the same, until the energy until there is no difference in energy. So it's very, very cool if you ask me. And you get to use this with Alcremie VMAX, you get to use this with any psychic energy, psychic Pokemons, ghost Pokemons, fairy type Pokemons. You get to play around with this attack because it is only 1 colorless energy cost, and it is only stage 1. It's very easy to use this attack, but obviously it's not that powerful. It relies on the amount of energy your opponent has attached to their Pokemon. But obviously if they have a lot attached to only 1, and you get to spread around your energy to a lot of your Pokemons, you don't need a lot of energies. For example, you can have a lot of 1 price cards playing a lot of 1 energy cost attacks, and you spread, or maybe 2 energy cost attacks, and you spread those energy onto a lot of your Pokemons, knocking out one of their Pokemon with all of their energy attached to it. Then you can reset their energy cost to 0. So you can kind of shuffle your energy around on your Pokemons in play. So that's very, it's very, you know, it's kind of a strategic way of playing your energy cards. So obviously you have to discard enough energy onto your discard pile to be able to do a lot with your Power Split. You have to wait until your opponent attach enough energy onto their Pokemon. Those are the restrictions, but you get to play, you get to, what do you call that? You have full control over which Pokemon you attach your energies to, and you have full control over how how you attach them from a discard pile. That's the only control you have. But it's quite, you don't see this attack ever, like it's never been introduced before. So that's what I'm trying to say, is it's quite cool, but also it has its restrictions, it has its limitations. So let's go for the next card, which is Crobat. As you evolve this card from your hand, you get to draw 3 cards, and it's the Golbat card. Its matching Golbat card also has the ability which allows you to draw 2 cards as you evolve Golbat. So it's the matching kind of ability where you get to stack those number of cards that you draw for each evolution of Golbat and Crobat. So you get to have a lot of Crobats and Golbats, and you get to evolve them for a lot of draws. It actually works well with the hand kinesis attack. So the new Indeedee from Battle Styles allows you to do 10 damage for each card you have on your hand. 10 is not a lot, but if you draw enough cards, you need to draw 30 cards to do 300 damage. So maybe it's not that good of an attack, but you won't be able to one-hit KO a VMAX, but you can two-hit KO a VMAX. For a one price card is not that bad actually. For a one price card, if you play Indeedee, it's a 2 attack cost, 2 energy attack cost for hand kinesis, allowing you to do 10 damage for each card in your hand. So that is not bad, but it's not that good as well because it's only 10. Obviously Crobat also allows you to draw other cards that you need, and it's also better because it's not a supporter card, it's not an item card, it's not an ability that you don't get to recycle. For example, a Crobat V and a Dedenne GX. A Crobat V and Dedenne GX, you can't recycle them because you can't scoop them up. Obviously, you get to exile them and shuffle them back into your deck. But with Dedenne GX, you need to discard your hand to be able to draw those 6 cards. And it is a 2 prize card. If your opponent knocks it out, they draw 2 prizes. So Crobat is a 1 prize card, and you get to have a lot of Zubats on your bench. You get to evolve a lot of them, stack those abilities up, and you get to use Devolution Spray for a double devolution of your Crobat and Golbat to recycle both their abilities. And you get to do it turn after turn to draw a lot of cards into your hand, to draw the right cards into your hand. But obviously they can still use a Marnie, so that's something to watch out for. A reset stem as well. So, you know, drawing cards too often might not be a good thing, but it might be a good thing as well. You might need to draw them back. You know, it might be smart to not draw too much, not to focus your deck on drawing a lot of cards, but to focus your deck on drawing the right cards. That means you only need to evolve only 2 or 3 times a turn to be able to use up all of your cards until you have very few cards left on your hand. That way, if they use a Marnie or a reset stem, you don't have to worry about a thing. Or you have already used a Devolution Spray, you have already shuffled those cards back into your deck, ready to evolve on the next turn, ready to draw back out even more cards. Well, you don't want to draw even more cards. You want to be using all of the cards that you have drawn, because otherwise they can just shuffle them back into your deck with a Peking Red stamp. Sorry, with a Peking Red card, the cards that I've mentioned, a Marnie, I can't remember what reset stamp. Jesus, Marnie, a reset stamp, and a Peking Red card. So those cards actually destroys your hand. They can even use a Malamar VMAX or a Jesse and James to discard cards from your hand. And also the next card we are talking about, they can also use a Select to discard cards from your hand. So, or a Meow, a Persian with the Make 'em Pay attack. So Make 'em Pay forces your opponent to discard their hand until they have 4 cards left. Or even the Yank Out attack by Apom. Apom has the Yank Out attack, forcing your opponent to discard their hand until they have 5 cards left on their hand. So let's go to Lickilicky. Lickilicky has the Select attack, forcing your opponent to either to choose whether to discard the top 3 cards of their deck or to discard 3 cards from their hand. So you can pair this Lickilicky card with Curse Shovels, with a lot of Toxtricities to mill your opponent to death. You can pair it with Malamar VMAXs, with Oleana, with Jesse and James to stall your opponent's hand, to cut off your opponent's hand, to cut off their hand supply, to make sure they have not enough cards on their hand to do anything, to draw with supporter cards, to draw with item cards, to draw with Dedenne, or to do anything. So if they have very few cards on their hand, they can't do much. And if they have very few cards, if you mill their deck, then they don't have the right resources left on their deck. So that might actually be bad for them. They might not have cards to reshuffle those Pokemon or energy cards back into their deck. They might not have enough cards to retrieve the cards that you discarded from their deck. So discarding their deck can actually do a lot of damage to their gameplay, can also actually win you the game by discarding them to death. So you can either focus on discarding their deck with a lot of Curse Shovels with Select and with you know, by with a lot of mind heads as well, by discarding their hand until there are very few cards in their hand, forcing them to have no choice but to choose to discard their deck. Or you can choose to have a Malamar VMAX deck to what do you call it, hack their hand even more, to destroy their hand even more. So you can even fit in both of those cards, both of those strategies into the same deck. So Select is a huge, strong attack. It's a very interesting attack because it's only 3 energy cost, meaning you get to use a triple acceleration energy from Unbroken Bonds. Triple acceleration energy is still in the standard format, it's still allowed in the standard format. So let's go back to Galarian Slowbro. So Galarian Slowbro has the Unhinged Hammer attack, allowing you to do 220 damage for if Galarian Slowbro is affected by a special condition. So you're gonna have to think about making it poison, because if you confuse, you're gonna have to think about making your Slowbro poisoned or burned. So poisoning your Slowbro or burning your Slowbro in either way, in some way, increases its damage from Unhinged Hammer by 120, allowing you to knock out a V Pokemon or a low HP GX. So a lot of V Pokemons have lower or 220 HP or lower. So only Zamazenta V has 230 HP. The other V cards are 220 HP or lower. So Unhinged Hammer actually allows you to knock out a V Pokemon with one hit, as long as Galarian Slowbro is affected by a special condition. And also I love this card because of the art. Look at the art. The art is just amazing. Galarian Slowbro being dubious, completely dubious and ignorant about the fact that it's being bitten to death and poisoned like crazy, you know, completely toxified by this cloister at its hand, and it's just looking at it like it's it's just looking at it like it's nothing, you know. It's like, why are you there? it's so funny. So this is, I just love this card because of the art. And also Unhinged Hammer is not bad of an attack. A lot of new cards from the Battle Styles expansion is featuring 3 energy costs for 220 damage instead of the old card. Old cards are only 3 energy costs for 120 damage, because 120 is enough to knock out a basic Pokemon for the old version. For the new version, 220 is enough to knock out a V basic Pokemon. So it's kind of the same format, it's only different damage and different energy, same energy cost, different damage, but knock out a basic V Pokemon. So kind of the same thing. So now let's go to Whippinbell Salazzle. So Whippinbell Salazzle combo is the new Hot Poison Hex Flame, sorry, my bad, Hot Poison Hexed Flame combo. So the old Salazzle card has the Hot Poison ability, which is the same as our Dangerous Mucus ability. Our Dangerous Mucus allows you to affect your opponent's active Pokemon with Burn and Poison as you evolve your Whippinbell. So the same as our old Salazzle card with the Hot Poison ability, as you evolve the Salazzle, you burn and poison your opponent's active Pokemon. Obviously, it's their active Pokemon, because the only Pokemon that gets to be affected by special conditions is the active Pokemon. So after that, we have our Salazzle card from Battle Styles with the Derisive Roasting attack, allowing you to do 90x damage for each special condition affecting your opponent's Pokemon. So if they have so the maximum damage you can do with this attack is 270, because you can only affect it with a max of 3 special conditions. What am I trying to say? So yeah, this is the same as the old Hexed Flame card. So Ninetales, the old Ninetales card with the Burning Look ability, has the Hexed Flame attack. Hexed Flame does 50 extra damage for each special condition affecting your opponent's active Pokemon. So 50 extra damage is a lot for the old version. For old expansions, 50 extra damage is a lot. So for now, 90x damage is the same amount as compared to the old version. So they are kind of reintroducing the same strategy, but in the amount of damage that is enough to knock out a VMAX Pokemon, enough to knock out a tag team Pokemon. So 270 is not enough, obviously, but you can add Choice Bands, you can add Leons, you can add other cards to increase its damage. You can add Martial Arts Dojo even, but obviously Martial Arts Dojo only works if you have Fighting type energy attached to your Pokemon. You need to attach Fighting energy to your Salazzle for Martial Arts Dojo to increase its damage. Otherwise, Martial Arts Dojo will not work. So it's better to just attach your fire energies to your Salazzle because you can Welder, you can use Twin energy, you can use Triple Acceleration energy because it's an evolution Pokemon, it's a stage 1. So you can use a lot, you can attach energy very easily to your Salazzle. It's a fire, you can attach with Welder. You can attach Twin Triple XL. So it's very super easy to charge up your Salazzle. It's very easy to affect your opponent with special conditions. You can think about Yellhorn. You can think about attaching Steel energy to your Salazzle so that you can protect it with Cobalion GX. Cobalion GX protects all Pokemon with Steel energy attached to it from special conditions, meaning you can use Yellhorn to confuse your opponent's Pokemon and keep your Pokemon protected from special conditions, protected from confusion. Or you can have a Pastel Veil as well, your choice, you know. But obviously Pastel Veil is a stage 1. We don't want to have too many stage 1s in your deck. And you need to have Devolution Spray Z because obviously Weeping Bell's ability only works once as you evolve it onto your Bellsprout. So Derisive Roasting does a max of 270, up to 300 if you have Leon, 310 if you have Choice Band, enough to knock out a VMAX if you have an extra 10 or 40 damage with Martial Arts Dojo maybe. So actually it's not enough to knock out a high HP VMAX or a Colossal VMAX if they have Stone energies, or a VMAX with Stone energies. So it's actually not enough if they have a Lucario Melmetal with Full Metal GX already activated with a Big Shield card with a Big Shield ability activated, or something like that, or a Chichester Bath. So you might have to add some other damage some other way, but 270 is a lot for a one price card. 270, guys, that is a lot. So next up we have our Qriketoon V with the Exciting Stage ability, the same as our Instruct ability from Oranguru from Sun and Moon. So Oranguru Instruct ability, you get to stack that ability, meaning after using the first Instruct, if you use up those cards, you get to use a second Oranguru card. You get to place a second Oranguru card on your bench and use Instruct a second time. You get to use it a third time if you have another Oranguru. Whereas with Exciting Stage, you only get to use it once. You only get to use one Exciting Stage ability per turn. Kind of the same as DD Change, kind of the same as your Dark Asset ability from Crobat V. You don't get to use more than one per turn. So Exciting Stage allows you to draw cards until you have 3 cards in your hand. If it is in your active spot, you get to draw cards until you have 4 cards in your hand. You get to do it another time if you have a Rose Tower. So Rose Tower might be a good combo with your Qriketoon V. If you are playing a lot of item cards in your hand, then you get to discard a lot of those. You get to use a lot of those item cards, discard from your hand, maybe a Quick Ball even, maybe a Viridian Forest to discard any cards you don't need from your hand, and then draw more fresh new cards with your Rose Tower and with your Exciting Stage. So that's something to think about. So X-Scissor doesn't do much, only 80 for 3 energies. So next we have our Flapple V. Flapple V, Sour Spit, we've already talked about that. Sour Spit adds your opponent's attack cost by 2 stars. It only does 20 damage, but it's only 1 leaf energy cost. And your opponent gets to erase that effect with switch cards, with Bird Keepers, and with Scoop Up Nets, obviously. But if they don't switch their Pokemon, they essentially can't attack unless they attach an extra 2 energies on their Pokemon. And if it's a Pokemon V, excuse my language, they have to attach 2 extra energies. They can't attach a twin energy. That won't work. So it actually stalls them by a lot at the beginning of the game. It might be very effective at the early stage of the game if they don't have a lot of switches or Bird Keepers drawn on their hand yet, or if they don't have enough energies to attack yet, then you are adding even more to their attack cost. You're forcing them to find their switch cards, to find their Bird Keepers, to waste those cards very early on in the game. So that's very effective for the beginning stage of the game. But for later on, I won't focus too much on this attack. I won't focus my entire deck solely on the Sour Spit attack because it's not strong enough. It's just an effect. They can block it with Wash Energy, they can block it with Big Parasol, they can block it with a lot of things, okay? So they can even block it with a, what's it called, Channeler. A Channeler or Pokemon Ranger. So Pokemon Ranger is an expanded format, Channeler is in standard format. So Flapple VMAX has the Gmax rolling attack, allowing you to do 250 damage minus. So 250 minus is a new, is the old way of attacking. So Mega Heracross EX has 180 minus attack. The attack does 180 minus damage, meaning it does 180 damage minus 10 for each damage counter on Mega Heracross. So the same as Flapple VMAX, for each damage counter on Flapple VMAX, you minus 10 damage to its Gmax rolling attack. So it does a base damage of 250, which is a lot. So if they don't place any damage counters on it yet, or if you heal all damage from your Flapple VMAX, you get to do a max of 250 damage, which is a lot for only 3 energy cards and 1 leaf and 2 star energy. That means you get to use a Welder, you get to use Voltage Beat because it's a leaf type, and you get to use Cheryl. Cheryl heals heal all damage from each of your evolution Pokemon. So Cheryl heals all of your evolution Pokemon's damage, but you have to discard all energy attached to those Pokemon. So that is huge because you heal all of your damage from all of your VMAXs, except you have to think about the limitation, which is you have to discard all energies from those Pokemons that you heal damage from. And it is a supporter card, meaning you can't use other supporter cards to draw. You can't use Leon, you can't use Nessa, you can't use any other supporter cards. So it is basically, Cheryl is essentially a ultra max potion, a enhanced max potion. It is an all-round max potion which heals all of your evolution Pokemon. So another limitation is only evolution Pokemons that it heals, but it heals all damage from all of those Pokemons. That is a lot. But you have to think about how to reattach those energies back into your Pokemon, how to shuffle those energies back, resummon them, and reattach them. So that's something to think about. Voltage Beat would be very useful. Voltage Beat, Cheryl, and Flapple VMAX would be a very, very powerful combo. So that's something to think about. Let's go for the next one. Next, we're going to talk about the mustards. So Single Strike style mustard and Rapid Strike style mustard. So the mustards card are the same as the old Team Magma, Team Aqua cards, which allows you to put so the Single Strike one allows you to search your deck for a Single Strike Pokemon, put it onto your bench directly, and then if you do that, you draw an extra 5 cards into your hand. But the limitation, the condition for this card to be played, the condition for you to be able to play this card is that you need to have no other cards in your hand. So this with the condition that this is the only card in your hand, you get to play it. Otherwise, you don't get to play it. So you need to discard all other cards from your hand, or you need to use up all of your other cards, all of your item, energy, Pokemon cards, trainer cards, until this is your last card in your hand. Then only you get to play it. So it's the same as your, I can't remember the names, but Team Aqua, Team Magma supporter cards has the same effect. So Team Magma, Team Aqua reintroduced into battle styles. That's why I'm trying to say that. So Team Mustard, Rapid Strike style Mustard puts a Rapid Strike Pokemon from your discard pile instead of from your deck. So Single Strike is actually stronger because you search your deck for any Single Strike Pokemon. You can search your deck for a Stage 1, Stage 2 VMAX Pokemon, Single Strike with a Single Strike logo, and put it onto your bench directly, then draw 5 cards. Rapid Strike style, you search your deck for any Stage 1, Stage 2 VMAX Rapid Style Strike Pokemon, put it onto your bench, then draw 5 cards. But you need to, same condition, you need to have only Rapid Strike style Mustard on your hand to be able to use that card. You can't have any other cards on your hand, otherwise you can't play this card. So that is the condition. You need to discard all other cards in your hand, from your hand. So let's go for the next card. Single Strike Urshifu VMAX. So Urshifu VMAX is probably the most you know, the card that is the most powerful, kind of like the new Cinderace VMAX or the new Eternatus VMAX, the new VMAX card that is gonna be blown up, that is gonna be, you know, super overpowered. So Gmax One Blow, you never know, you know, it might not be more powerful than the Colossal VMAX. Colossal VMAX might still be more powerful than this deck. You never know. So it's just the main, the something that's gonna be very famous is what I'm trying to say. So Urshifu VMAX Single Strike has the Gmax One Blow attack, allowing you to do 270 damage, but you have to discard all energy from this Pokemon. And this attack's damage isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon, meaning they don't get to protect their Pokemon from damage or by the Gmax One Blow attack. With their abilities, with their effects, with their stadium cards, with their trainer cards, with their tool cards, nothing works. So it's not affected by any effects on their Pokemon, not any effects on their Pokemon's attacks, any effects on their Pokemon. It's kind of like the same, it's kind of the same as Phoebe. So Phoebe, let me just show quickly Phoebe. Sorry about that, I haven't have it. So Phoebe, where's Phoebe? There we go. I actually can't find it. Phoebe, there we go. Phoebe has the same effect as, you know, that Gmax One Blow attack. So during your turn, damage from your Pokemon VMAX's attack isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So their abilities, their effects of attack, their tool cards, their trainer cards, anything, their stadium cards, anything cannot protect them from your attack. So if they have stone energies even, it doesn't affect them. Damage from your opponent's Pokemon isn't affected by any effects. Stone energy, special energy cards has no effect on your attack. So 270 raw attack, raw damage. You're doing 270 raw damage without the Phoebe card. You don't need to play Phoebe. You don't need to waste your supporter card count for that turn. If you're playing a Urshifu VMAX, if you're playing a Gmax One Blow hit, you don't need to use Phoebe, and you're doing a raw damage of 270, but you need to discard all energy from your Urshifu VMAX, and it is a 4 energy attack cost Pokemon. It is a 4 energy attack, so you need to think about charging it, but you can charge it with your Houndoom. Houndoom with the Single Strike Raw ability, allowing you to attach a Single Strike energy card from your deck to any of your Single Strike Pokemon in play, but you put 2 damage counter on that Pokemon, so you can charge your Urshifu VMAX with your Houndoom, Single Strike Raw. Sorry about the buffering. So Gmax One Blow and Houndoom actually works well together, but it's 4 energy costs and you don't get to use double energies for it. So double energies are only for rapid strikes, but you get to use Houndoom for it. So, you know, it's kind of a win-win situation. If you don't get to use a double, you get to use a Houndoom. If you don't get to use a Houndoom, you get to use a double. So let's go to the Rapid Strike. Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX. Same Gmax attack, but different attack costs. You have to discard all energy from this Pokemon as well, but you do 120 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. Obviously, don't apply weakness and resistance to bench Pokemon, but it's only 3 energy costs. So 3 energy costs for 120 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon, and you get to use a Rapid Strike energy card. So Rapid Strike energy is a double energy, and it acts as 2 in any combination of fighting or water energy. My bad. So Gale Thrust also allows you to attack for 120 extra damage if you move your Urshifu VMAX from your bench to your active spot during your turn. So it does a total of 150 damage if you move it to the active spot during your turn, as opposed to Beat Down from Single Strike, which does only 100 damage for 3 colorless energies. So it's kind of a different thing, different flavors, but I kind of prefer the Rapid Strike because 4 energy is a lot and you don't have doubles for Single Strike. And but the effect is very good though. The effect is amazing because you do 270 raw damage. They don't get to protect with Chichester Buff. They don't get to protect with Big Shield ability. They don't get to protect with Metal Goggles, with Full Metal Wall. They don't get to protect with Stone Energy. No protections. No, the Scizor VMAX doesn't get to protect as well. There's no tool cards as well. What's that metal barrier thing that protects your Pokemon from protects it from 70 damage, protects it by 70 damage, reduce damage by 70 for 1 turn. I can't remember that tool card, but it reduces damage by 70. So all of those all of those damage reductions is nullified, is destroyed, is ignored by your Gmax 1 blow hit. That means you do a raw damage of 270. That is a lot. Obviously, you can't one-hit knock out a VMAX unless you have your Embors. It's a single strike, meaning you get to add a lot of Embors to your deck. You get to add a lot of Fighting Fury stance to add 30 damage. If you have 2, you can add up to 330 damage with your Gmax 1 blow. You can add Leons, you can add Martial Art Dojo, you can add your single strike energy adds 20 damage. Let's not forget that. I forgot about the I forgot about single strike effect. So the single strike energy effect adds 20 damage to your Urshifu V Max. So that's, or if you attach 2 single strike energy to your Urshifu, Gmax 1 blow would do a total of 310 damage already. And add that with your Martial Arts Dojo 320, add that with 1 Embor is already 350 raw damage. Guys, that is 350, enough to knock out any V Max. So you need to attach 2 single strike energy to your Urshifu V Max. You need to have 1 Embor already evolved on your bench, and you need to have a Martial Arts Dojo on your stadium spot. That is all you need to have to do a max of 350 damage. If you have another Embor in play, all you need is 1 Embor. If you have another one, you get to do 380 damage, raw damage with your Gmax 1 blow. So actually, Urshifu VMAX single strike is better than Urshifu VMAX rapid strike. Rapid strike does 120 to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon, so that is not a lot, but you get to do you get to hit 2 of your opponent's Pokemon for only 3 energy. So that's why it's called rapid, I suppose, because it's very fast. You get to charge it with a double energy, and it's only 3 energy cost, and you get to hit 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. So it's very fast, and you get to hit a lot of your Pokemons at the same time. So rapid strike, single strike is just different. Neither are better than the other. Neither one is better than the other. It's just that it's kind of a different way, different strategy. That's all. It's just a different strategy. The same as Team Magma and Team Aqua, as I keep saying. So let's go for rapid strike cards. The next rapid strike card is Octillery with the rapid strike search ability, allowing you to search your deck. Search your deck for a rapid strike card and put it into your hand only once during your turn, and you get to use only 1 rapid strike search ability each turn, meaning you can't have a lot of Octilleries, and you can't use a lot of the ability. You can't use the ability more than once per turn, and you only get to use it once for each for that ability. So that means you only get to search your deck once for 1 rapid strike card and put it into your hand. So that is the rapid strike search ability from Octillery. And we also have the another rapid strike card, Empoleon V, with the Silent Lab ability, Emperor's Eyes. So Emperor's Eyes allows you to block all basic Pokemon's abilities except for Pokemon with rule boxes, such as Pokemon V's or Pokemon GX's. So as long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent's basic Pokemon in play have no abilities. So basic Pokemons have no abilities except for GX/V/EX Pokemons. So it's essentially the same as the Silent Lab, except it has to be in the active spot, and it does not work for Pokemons with rule boxes. So that's actually a lot of restrictions, but it's actually better because Silent Lab is overpowered, if you ask me. In the expanded format, if you are playing a Silent Lab, you get to what do you call that? You get to disable your Shaymin EXs, you get to disable Jirachi EX, you get to disable Tapu Lele GX, you get to disable the Dean GX, Crobat V, Zacian V, all of the abilities that you get to draw cards with. You disable all of those. So Silent Lab is insane. And if they play a Silent Lab Honchkrow GX, then you can't do anything. You can't discard that you can't discard that stadium card unless you have a Field Blower or a Marshadow. So Field Blower Marshadow actually discards that Silent Lab pretty easily, but you might not have those cards drawn into your hand, or you might not have those cards in your deck. So that's why Silent Lab is so overpowered, in my opinion. So Emperor's Eyes does the same as Silent Lab, except with a lot of conditions, and it also have a Swirling Slice attack, move an energy, allowing you to move an energy from this Pokemon to your to one of your bench Pokemon, meaning you get to use is kind of the same as what do you call that? Cyclones, Power Cyclone. Power Cyclone has 3 energy costs and it does 110 damage, and you get to move an energy from that Pokemon, from the attacking Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. So this is the same Swirling Slice, except you get to move a Rapid Strike energy as well. So you get to move that double Rapid Strike energy from your Empoleon V to one of your bench Pokemon, one of your bench Rapid Strike Pokemon. Hopefully a Urshifu VMAX, because Urshifu VMAX only needs an extra energy to do its Rapid Strike Gmax attack. I can't remember. Gmax Rapid Flow, only 3 energy costs. So after using your Swirling Slice, you can immediately switch out to your Urshifu VMAX to do its Gmax Rapid Flow attack for a 120 double hit. So as long as you have a Rapid Strike energy attached to your Empoleon V. So Empoleon V, you only need a Rapid Strike energy and another energy attached to it to do its Swirling Slice attack. And Rapid Strike energy acts as water energy as well. That means you get to use it for Empoleon V. So that's how powerful Rapid Strike is. But as I said earlier, Single Strike has its own power as well. It's not who is better, it's just they have their own advantages and disadvantages, you know. It's just colors. They are just different. Neither is better than the other, is my opinion. You know, different people have different opinions, but in my opinion, they are both the same, only they are different in different ways, you know. They are both the same in terms of power and strength, but in terms of gameplay, they are different. That's all. But if you ask me, Rapid Flow actually has one less card that is not good, because let's just go here. So if you look at the full card list, Rapid Strike is actually one less card than the Single Strike. So Single Strike has all the matching cards. They have the Stadium, Supporter, and item cards, tool cards. Everything is kind of balanced in terms of Single Strike and Rapid Strike, except for the item card. So the item card for Single Strike is Urn of Vitality, allowing you to shuffle 2 Single Strike energy from your discard pile back into your deck. So that is very, very restricted to only Single Strike energies. Whereas for your Rapid Strike, the Rapid Strike item card is very, very different. It's not restricted to only... sorry about that. So for Rapid Strike item, the Rapid Strike item is not confined to only Rapid Strike Pokemons or Rapid Strike cards. You get to use that Rapid Strike item for your Single Strike Pokemon as well, against your opponent's Pokemon, because it is not for your own. It's not for your own Pokemon. It's not affecting your own cards. You're affecting your opponent's cards. So Fan of Waves is a Rapid Strike card. You put a special energy attached to one of your opponent's Pokemon on the bottom of their deck, meaning you can play a full Single Strike deck with a Fan of Waves added to that deck. So it is not a Rapid Strike card. It is just, the label is just there for fun, I would say. So it's not specialized, is what I'm trying to say. This card is not specially for Rapid Strike Pokemons. It's not specially for affecting Rapid Strike Pokemons. It works for any Pokemon, you know, because you're actually doing something to your opponent. You're not doing something to your Pokemon. So it's very different from Earn of Vitality, which only works for single strike Pokemon. It only works for single strike energy, which you can only attach to your single strike Pokemon. So that's all for this deck review. I don't want to go on too long. We have reviewed a lot of cards, and we have talked a lot about, you know, how powerful they are and their attacks, abilities, effects, and we have talked a lot about their the ideas, how you can pair them up with all cards, how you can pair them up with the other cards from the same expansion to make them super powerful. So that's all for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you do, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We release videos regularly every 2 or 3 days on Pokemon TCGO. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. So that's all for this video. Have a nice day. Keep playing, keep having fun. New Battle Styles cards are coming out this 19th of March, and you get to purchase them in the shop. It's not the same as Champion's Path or Shining Fates. You do get to purchase them in the shop. The packs, you get to purchase them with coins in the shop, in the PTCGO software. So in the gameplay, in the online gameplay, you get to purchase them in the shop. And you also get to purchase the theme deck. There's gonna be theme decks coming out as well. That means the theme format is gonna have 2 added decks that you get to play with. So that's something to look forward to. Please keep playing, keep gaining experience, keep collecting knowledge on Pokemon TCGO, and have fun, keep having fun with the game, and strike more wins. And we'll see you on the next Single Strike Rapid Strike video. Bye guys!